Hi, I'm Troy.
And I'm Vicki.
And we are Empty Nesters Wine. Hey, welcome back to Empty Nesters Podcast. We're at episode number 13. Meet the Empty Nesters. Thought we'd have a little bit of fun with it today, and we're just going to talk about how we met, got married, went through life, and became empty nesters. Vicki, what kind of wine are we going to taste today?
We have a pear raspberry today. That's one of ours.
One of Empty Nesters Pear Raspberry we'll be tasting at the end of the podcast today.
Or all the way through it.
All right. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Episode 13. Those of you that have listened along the way, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like our audio, YouTube, whatever. I don't know what my producer wants me to call that, but he's looking at me kind of weird. Anyway, like this podcast and subscribe to our channel. Go to Facebook and like our Facebook page. We put a lot of information out on our Facebook page, and I drop the link to this YouTube channel on Facebook every Monday afternoon. So yeah, how we met. You remember that, Vicki?
Yes.
Yeah. Vicki and I worked at Shoney's restaurant in Topeka. Not the same Shoney's restaurant. Two different stores. We didn't even know each other then.
Well, I worked at the one on 29th Street.
I worked at the one on Wanamaker. And, I worked there for about a year, and I left Shoney's, and I went somewhere else. And the district manager and I talked it over one time, and he asked me to come back. I considered it. I wasn't sure if I should or not. And then he told me they needed help at the 29th Street store. And
which I think the meeting you were having with him is the first time I actually saw you.
Maybe so.
You were sitting in the restaurant in one of the booths.
Yep, we were. We were sitting in the booth. He was trying to talk me into coming back. I liked being a waiter better than a cook, and I liked the Wanamaker store better than the 29th Street store because it was newer and cleaner. So he was basically asking me to come back to a downgrade, and I almost told him no. Wow. But I thought it over, and I decided to give it a shot. So here we are working together at Shoney's. Don't know each other yet, but I was a cook. Vicki was seating the door, waiting tables, working the salad bar.
Yeah, I did quite a bit of it.
What was your favorite job out of those?
Probably seating the door. I like talking to all the people.
Yeah, I liked it when you seated the door, too. That's how she caught my eye. Standing there in the kitchen, being a cook, right? You have your stoves and your fryers and all the stuff, but you got this big cook's window where it's got a big stainless steel ledge, and you slide the plates of food in there, and then you ring this bell, and the waitress knows the food is up. But it's a really big window. There's no window. It's just like a big cutout. And all day long, I could just watch Vicki walking to the front door, getting a couple customers, walking past my window to their seats. And I kept thinking, who is that? I got to meet her. And so my sister also worked at Shoney's.
Yeah, she was one of the assistant managers at the time.
Yeah, so I talked to my sister, and I said, hey, you got to introduce me to that girl because she looks great. She's got a beautiful smile, and I want to meet her. So my sister introduced us, and then a little while later, I decided I wanted to go out with her. So I created a last-second party at my house.
Which was not abnormal for your house.
That's true. That happened on a regular basis. And then I told my sister to invite Vicki over, and she did. And that's how we met. And Vicki came over, and we started talking and hit it off pretty good until she knocked my feet out from under me and put me on the ground.
I did.
Why don't you tell them that story?
Oh, you know, guys being all tough. He said something about not being able to knock him down. I caught him off guard, swept my foot out from under his feet, and knocked him flat on his butt.
Yeah, we were standing by my car and we were talking, and I don't remember what brought it up, but I was like, well, you could never knock me down. And as I was saying it, she caught me off guard and swept my feet up from under me and knocked me on the ground. So, yeah, she's always been a tough girl.
Well,
So, yeah, so we hung out at the house, and then we ended up going to Shawnee Lake to go swimming with a big group of people that were there at the house with us. And it was a great first date. We got to hang out, get to know each other, got to swim in the lake. And while we were there, it was a really odd situation because we were there with a group of people. I think we were in the gazebo just hanging out, and just some old hippie guy comes walking by. And
I think he was fishing.
Oh, maybe he was.
Yeah.
He just says, hey, how are you guys? And I don't even remember what we told him, but something. He says, oh, that's good. Making memories is important. Just some random guy. And
that has stayed with us for years.
Yeah, we really took that making memories thing and ran with it. We decided that's what we want to do for the rest of our lives, is make memories together. So we made a few of them.
Maybe just a little bit more than a few. But
well, we've had 26 years to do it, so maybe a lot. So, yeah, we dated for a year. Mm-hmm. And while we were dating, I was going to school. I was working 2 jobs. Vicky was working 2 jobs, I believe. Was it one job?
I think it was one job.
Maybe it was one job, but anyway, yeah, it was. We didn't see a lot of each other, which may be why she could tolerate me that much. But
whatever.
No. Yeah, so then we met. I think our first date was in July. June?
It was actually in April.
Okay.
But we started officially dating in July.
Okay, that's what it was. And then we officially dated for 1 year, and we got married July 23rd, 1994. The hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
And we were all decked out and decided we was going to have an
wedding.
Outdoor wedding at the Rose Garden in Topeka, Gage Park. And yeah, I was in a tuxedo with a jacket and everything, and Vicky had her hair all done up, and she's got some thick hair, so.
And
anyway.
Of course, it was so humid it fell. Yeah.
We were very hot.
And we were the only ones in the sun, us and the people standing with us. Everybody else got to sit in the shade, which was nice for them.
So we're standing up there, and the preacher who I called Santa Claus, it was a preacher that Vicky knew from her childhood. He looked like Santa Claus. He had a big gray beard and gray hair and a little belly on him.
He's been known to play Santa Claus a time or two.
Greg Childress. I don't know whatever happened to him, but he was a really cool guy. I liked him. So he's standing there. Vicky and I are standing there, and we're facing him, and behind him is this water fountain. It's a big pool of water. It looked like it's about 3 feet deep, and spewing water out in a little fountain. Oh, it looks so good. I just wanted to jump in that water.
Me too.
But we made it through the ceremony.
He almost forgot to say I do because he was busy looking at the water.
That's true. I was just looking at the water and thinking, man, I'm so hot.
Of course, he barely made it to the wedding as it is.
That's true. My niece. I went over to my sister's house to get ready for the wedding, and everyone else left to go to the wedding, and I was wrapping up a couple things, and I'm done. I come out, everybody's gone, and I can't find my car keys anywhere. And this was the days before cell phones, so I couldn't just start calling people up, hey, I need a ride.
Right.
So I don't even remember how I got a hold of somebody.
It was your mom.
Yeah.
She was at our place getting the cakes out the door.
Yeah. Did I catch a ride or did I find my keys?
No, she had to come get you.
Yeah, she had to come and get me and take me to the wedding. I almost missed my own wedding. Later, found out that my niece was playing in my car and took my keys and was playing around with them, and she left them outside, just laying somewhere outside. We found them a couple days later. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, so we got married on a really hot day, and plus the added tension of almost missing my wedding, I was a sweaty mess. Yeah, we didn't have a honeymoon at that time. We were just starting out in life, and we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, no.
But 2 years later, we took a nice trip to the Bahamas.
We did.
We called that a honeymoon, and been traveling ever since. We lived in Topeka for about a year after we got married. We lived in a basement, one-bedroom apartment at 13th and Tyler.
Oh, boy.
That was a rough area of Topeka.
That was a rough area of Topeka. It's even rougher now, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. One day when I came home, I was pregnant with our son at the time, and I had come home from work, and you were already at one of your jobs. And
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it was Pizza Hut.
Delivering pizzas.
And I come home, and this guy is passed out literally by our bedroom window.
Because we lived in a basement apartment, so the ground was like a window. Like, our window looked right out to the ground.
And so I called in a panic because I didn't want to go touch him to even find out if he was alive, because I was very pregnant at the time. And so I went and called 911 and had them come out. And then I felt so bad because the guy was just passed out. And they ended up taking the poor guy over to the field next door and like hosing him down. And luckily they didn't take him to jail or anything. So, but I did feel bad.
Yeah, I had a pager at that time. You young people probably don't know what those are, but in a time before cell phones, they had pagers. And I had a pager because Vicky was very pregnant, and I was going to school and working 2 jobs. So the odds were not good that I would actually be there when she gave birth. So I had a pager, and she paged me. And so I came running, and I got there. The police were already there, and yeah, they were hosing the poor guy down, trying to get him to wake up and move on. Yeah, that was some area.
Yeah.
You remember when I parked my car along the curb?
Mm-hmm.
And we'd just been grocery shopping, and we parked along the curb, which I normally didn't do, but it was closest to our door, and we were unloading our groceries, and then I just left it there. And about 2 a.m., this was a secured building, so you had one of those beep, they push a button and it would buzz us. And I heard this really weird noise. 2 a.m. woke me up. I realized it was our buzzer. And so I went to the door, and it was the police. And they asked if I drove a 1970 Ford Pinto, I think is what I was driving at the time. And I was like, yeah. Car. And I looked out where it had been parked, and it wasn't there. And I looked down the street, and it was in the middle of the intersection. And yeah, it was interesting that the neighbor who lived cat-a-corner from our apartment building saw some guy came just speeding through the neighborhood and just crashed right into the back of my car. And he got out and went and opened the car door. I've never really been one to lock my doors, even in bad neighborhoods, I guess. Yeah, that's how my niece got a hold of my keys, because I just left them in the ignition. So my keys were not in the car, but the car was unlocked. And so the guy went to my car, rifled through some stuff, and then he put his car in reverse and tried to back up. But when he had crashed into my car, the bumpers had locked up. So he drug my car down the street, and then he turned his wheel, and it dislodged my car in the middle of the intersection, and he sped away. So that was quite something to wake up to.
Yeah, that poor Pinto went through a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times it got totaled.
Oh, yeah, that Pinto. I paid $250 for that car and drove it for several years. Delivered pizzas in it. I commuted from Topeka to Lawrence in it. Yeah, that was a good investment. So, yeah, we got out of that neighborhood after our lease was up. We moved to 24th in Indiana in Topeka.
Right before our son was born.
Right next door to Vicky's grandma.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. Vicky's grandma was a really nice lady. I enjoyed being there.
Well, the older couple that lived there before had been my grandma's neighbors for 40-some years. And we were the first offer to live in the house. So.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. Charlie.
And Gladys.
Yeah. They were good people, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we moved there, 24th in Indiana, next door to Vicky's grandma, which is where Austin was born. Again, another 2 a.m. story. I'm laying in bed, and I roll over, and it's all wet. And Vicky's in the bathroom. I said, Vicky, did you wet the bed? She says, my water broke. Oh, my gosh.
He says, what?
I was out of bed, in the car with the engine running, and Vicky's still not out there. And I was like, what's going on? So I went back inside. She's gathering some things. And I was like, let's go. So we sped off to the hospital, got pulled over by a policeman on the way there. And I told him what was going on, and he said, follow me. And he turned his lights on and gave us an escort to the hospital.
Yep.
Austin was born at 5:58 a.m.
Yep. The doctor almost didn't make it there on time.
Yeah, they had to call in the doctor, and yeah, he walked in the door, had his catcher's mitt in hand, and boom, it was over. As soon as he walked in, Vicky was holding back, waiting.
Except for it was a woman.
So moving on. Yeah, I was working in Lawrence, and we were living in Topeka at that time, and it was just quite a commute, and so we decided we were going to move closer, and that's when I first heard about Lecompton. And you know what? We'll talk about our move to Lecompton next weekend. Next Monday, we'll drop the next podcast on our move to Lecompton. Vicky, what's that wine we're tasting today?
Raspberry pear.
Raspberry pear.
I gotta pour some more. I ran out.
So did our producer. I'll take a smidgen more.
A smidgen.
All right. It's a pretty color. I like it. It's kind of a golden red.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very strange smell to it.
It's got you can taste the tartness from the raspberries, but it's not like overly tart.
Definitely can. I'm not a huge fan of the berry of raspberry, but I've had raspberry wines that we've made lately, and come to find out I really like raspberry wine. It's got a really good kind of a spicy flavor to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say this is a success. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, hey, join us next week. More on us. Meet the Empty Nesters Part 2.